Hello, everybody. Welcome to Quasar Qua-Nology number 13, the podcast that covers all of the chronological or Qua-Nological appearances of Wendell Elvis Vaughn, our favorite superhero, Quasar. We are joined again by Bex Luthor.
What up?
and this week we are reviewing Dazzler number 21 from 1982, November 1982.
Just 10 years before I came into the world.
Exactly. And just like the previous time we reviewed Dazzler, this is written by Danny Fingeroth, our pal, and drawn by Frank Springer and inked by Vince Colletta. But before we get into the main issue, let's talk about this wacky cover, this photo cover. What do you think of that, Becca?
I need to cosplay that. That's rad.
It is pretty cool.
They do that now. They have Marvel cosplay covers now with like professional cosplayers on them. Like Yaya Han was Medusa on
Really?
one. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So like I saw this and I was like, whoa, that's retro. Like, and the fact that they do that now. Also, why she got bangs, but whatever.
And why do you think it's kind of odd that it seems like she's just sort of putting her hands in front of like two lights? I mean,
But yeah, it was 1982. They're not gonna spring for the good CGI.
Okay. But anyway, so here we are. So at the bottom it says, reveal the shameful secret of Dazzler's past, right? So we're going to find out
Oh, I didn't notice it said that.
Yeah, we're going to find out some backstory here. So we open up with Alison Blair being carried by Angel from the X-Men.
Because she can't walk because she's a girl.
So it is kind of funny that she's the star of the comic, but here she's being carried by someone else. I take it you didn't like that.
You know who sucks? Angel. Angel sucks so much.
I love Angel.
Look,
great.
no, he's a great character, but I would punch Warren in the face if I ever met him.
Why is that? Because he's spoiled and rich?
Because he's spoiled and rich, definitely. Eat the rich. Also, he treats her like an object the whole time. Everyone... I could literally rant about Dazzler being treated like an object for the rest of my life from reading these 3 comics.
That's okay. You only have to fill 45 minutes. So let's keep going. So then we have a little flashback here. We have an unnecessarily, completely unnecessary Spidey cameo.
The best part of the comic is when he's insulted that they don't notice him.
It's not even a good, I mean, the art is terrible.
No, it's
on
bad.
this
Like, look at his
page 4.
legs.
Oh
He's got
God.
no knee on this second leg.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Pretty much a rush job. So this story is, I actually thought it was kind of interesting because they tied everything directly into the secret identity subplots, which is that she's estranged from her mother and she has a really bad relationship with her father. But in this story, she kind of is reunited with both of them, right?
Yeah, this is the stuff that, like, it's not great, but it's definitely what I would want more from my superhero by night, pop star during the day comic book. Like,
right.
She's struggling with her family life and her pop stardom, and the superhero thing's kind of an afterthought in this one. Like, she doesn't fight crime, she doesn't solve mysteries, she doesn't do anything with her powers.
Right. It's almost like if they were to do a TV show of a superhero in 1981, this is how they would do it. The superhero stuff would be like 5 or 10 minutes and everything else would be the other 40, 50 minutes, right?
Yeah, this is the Supergirl in the office at Catco kind of storyline. It's definitely not even close to that quality, but it's like if I was a teenage girl in the 80s, this is probably what I would have been more drawn to. Not to say I don't like the whole like Avengers fighting and stuff like that. It's just like the character of Dazzler does really well to this kind of stuff, not the fighting Galactus in space kind of stuff.
Good point. Yeah, definitely more suited to this environment.
And I feel like the people who would probably be interested in reading as Dazzler as a character and not necessarily Dazzler as an object would be more interested in these kind of stories. Like younger girls would be like, oh yeah, you know, I have a rough relationship with my parents and I want to be a pop star too and my dad's against that, and very relatable stuff for like a teenage girl, right?
I totally agree. And that's the thing, is that I love superheroes too, but I do tend to find that the more, it's almost like, I try to relate it to this. I love cop shows, but when you watch a cop show, they don't spend 30 minutes having them arrest people, right? They show them with their wife, with their kids. They show maybe like investigating. They show like the actual fight scenes of a superhero comic should only be 5% of the comic, right? Like that's the least interesting thing about the comic, I find.
That's interesting because there's a whole subgenre of mostly women, not exclusively, but mostly women, writing fan fiction online that's exclusively just this kind of stuff. That's exclusively just the Avengers in their tower, hanging out, talking, dealing with inter-team problems, dating, like the regular human stuff of being a superhero, because people crave that stuff. They want their regular life, but also they want it to be just a little more interesting. Like, I want to go to college and get a degree, and I want to have a boyfriend, but I also want to be able to fly. Like, that's that kind of...
So you think I should give fan fiction another shot?
I say everybody needs to, because there is some amazing fan fiction out there of people who genuinely have read so much of these characters and care so much about them and just want to explore a little bit more about them. So there's probably somewhere someone read this comic and was like, oh, Dazzler has a rough relationship with her father. I'm going to write 150,000 words about that relationship with her father.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And I can also point out that when I have ever thought about writing my own superhero comics, which I've written a few, but I always think about how much more interesting that stuff is.
Well, like, it's like when you watch the Just Like TV shows and stuff like that. When they're in the tower hanging out, that's like my favorite part of the episode. That's why kids really like Teen Titans, because it was teenagers hanging out and then they fight crime sometimes. Like,
well, even like in the Avengers movie, what was the best scene in Avengers 2? It was when they were telling the story, right? Remember?
When they're hanging out after the party and they're passing around drinks and trying to pick up Mjolnir.
Absolutely.
Acting like normal people.
Right, that's the best part of the movie. And so I think everyone should take note. Okay, so what did you guys think about the handling of
it's not great.
domestic abuse and drugs? Because I actually thought it was funny that they would even reference this in a 1981 comic, but Mommy's just got to find her happy powder. This is page 12. I mean, I appreciate that they're dealing with it, but I don't know how well they handled it. What did you guys think? Or what did you think about
I would say it's a very poor depiction of addiction and domestic abuse and everything that ties with all of that stuff. Because she's always just real hot, just smoking hot all the time as she's lying on the ground, just gotten beaten from her husband, and then
she just has a little smudge, which is a bruise on her face.
A bruise on her face from being hit by her husband as she looks for her cocaine in front of her child. Like, it's like, okay, why do we gotta show off her cleavage? But I'm literally gonna nitpick about that kind of stuff all day long, just because it's so not the point, and men just don't get it. But they try to vilify this woman so much at so many angles. At
mother?
Like, like everyone like talks about how like, oh, you'll never forgive her for leaving a loveless marriage when her husband didn't approve of her career. In fact, told her she could not pursue it. So she left him, fell in love with another man, got caught up in drugs, and he started abusing her. And I'm supposed to think she's a monster? Like, why do we vilify women so much? It's almost like, yes, she started doing drugs. Addiction is a complicated issue, and like, but every man in her life, like her first husband was emotionally abusive, and her second boyfriend or husband is physically abusive, and then that's her fault. It was a very interesting read into the past at how we depict that kind of thing. And like, the dad puts himself on this pedestal. I was like, you're an asshole.
Yeah, well, I certainly thought he was an asshole. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, the whole time. And then the mom feels so bad. Like, she can't talk to her daughter because I don't know why. It was just, if that came out today, I would be furious. But just reading how somebody in 30 years ago would portray this is interesting.
Now we're going to get even more interesting. On page 14, we're introduced to this guy.
Oh, the worst character ever.
This guy, so he's kind of like a promoter or whatever, like a total scumbag who's got this idea for a concert where they're going to have all of the Marvel superheroes basically come, and it's going to be like a charity event. They're going to make all this money, blah, blah, blah. But then at the end of the scene, they actually depict him pinching her ass, and she's like, as the guy walks out, she flips out on the other guy. So at least she complains about it. That's a step in the right direction. But then she forgives him because the guy says, Allison, please, that's just the way he is. He meant no harm. Allison, you're being oversensitive. So then she's like, okay, Harry, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. So all is forgiven.
Yeah, she's about 2 panels of being mad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than we could, I guess, ask for.
So then...
It's not like she's an X-Men.
So then we get to the scene of her rehearsing for the concert. I got this theory that comic books and rock and roll don't really mix. I don't know. They just have a hard time depicting people singing. Like, I mean...
Jem did it really well.
The comic book?
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
Okay.
They turn the music into art.
Okay.
But yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, this is rough. This is really rough.
I could barely read the...
lyrics?
The lyrics. And then I was like, oh, I know this song. I also know this song. How were they allowed to do this?
Well, I know the case. So for the first one, well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show. That's Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Then the second one I didn't know. Because the night belongs to love. Because the night. What's that? Do you know?
Yeah. I know the song. I mean, I don't know it off by heart.
Okay.
But like.
Okay, well, we'll have
I definitely recognize all of the lyrics for things except for the one song she says is her own, which is the worst one.
Okay, so the one that I didn't know was Because the Night by the Patti Smith Group. Okay. There you go, which was out at that time. Then there's also the third one is Everybody's Got a Hungry Heart, Bruce Springsteen. Okay, so then she does an original. Where's that one?
It's, I think, at the concert.
Okay, we'll get to that one later. Oh, wait. Okay, let's start in on the Dylan medley. So she does Like a Rolling Stone. Okay, so that was cool. I actually never knew what the first opening line of that song was, so I'm glad I read this comic.
That's an outfit and a half, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's not. It's half an outfit.
So more... Well, I guess you could call this beefcake artwork, right? Like, I mean, it is really well done, but it is a little bit ridiculous. Do you think? Like,
okay, then they go shopping.
This page of her showing
trying
off
on bathing suits.
Outfits. Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
Scantily
Fun
clad.
fact, 80s. Why is the black girl always
19.
covered up way more?
Is she? Oh, barely. Come on.
They don't show her butt.
I think that's just coincidence. There's just not as much variety. Like, look, Dazzler's in 6 panels. She's only in 2. Well, maybe 3. So I think that's just coincidence.
Also, they gotta show off Dazzler's back a lot. She just likes the backless. And like, I'm not gonna lie and say I wouldn't wear all of these outfits, but like, it's just a lot of really just bad writing, and then you almost see her boobs in that one. Like, cool.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool guy. Yep. That's what teenage girls want to
Although,
see, right?
I gotta say, I still prefer this over the 90s bad girl art where they would have girls bending their backs, sticking their
At least she
asses out.
looks like she could maybe have all her organs in there.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe not that bathing suit one.
Okay.
But also, like, the size of her boobs, there's no way she could wear that swimsuit and not be hunched over.
Okay.
But that's a personal thing.
I'll give you that. Okay. So now, anyway, so she agrees to do the concert.
Ew, that guy. Sorry.
Which guy?
Her boyfriend or whatever. Like, girl,
Yeah.
do better. Where's Quasar?
Exactly.
Like,
That's what I'm wondering.
Like, she's got Angel and Quasar to pick from, and she chooses, like, you know what? Maybe he's funny.
Okay, anyway.
But, like, gross mustache, dude.
Okay,
and then
so...
she kisses Angel.
Yeah?
That's not how you say bye to your friends that have crushes on you.
Oh.
Girl, what? You're leading
You
him
think she's
on.
leading him on? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I mean, he is Warren Worthington III.
She also has no character, personality, so she just is there to kiss him.
Well, anyway, we don't want to get too in-depth, but anyway. Okay, so...
Hate that panel. Why does she kiss him?
So she agrees to do the concert, so now we get a chance to see...
Daredevil's there.
It's funny because almost everyone's here. Look, the Fantastic Four is here, the Avengers are here, Daredevil's there, Power Man and Iron Fist.
Spider-Man shows up.
Of course, page 24, Quasar
There's
shows
my
up.
man. There
Yep.
he is in his weird outfit.
Yep.
And then Hank McCoy's there.
Yep. And is it Wonder Man?
Yeah, Wonder
I also
Man.
love how Spider-Man, even though he's Marvel's most popular character, they did Spider-Man right. He's an outsider. He's changing into Spider-Man in like a back,
because he was
hallway.
taking pictures for the Bugle
Exactly.
earlier.
That's how you do Spider-Man. Not with that stupid Tony Stark suit that he has in the new movies. But anyway, that's just
Ew.
me. See, some
Ew to
things
Mike's
are
comment, not the
important to
suit.
me, some things are important to you. So anyway, so now we're in the dressing room here. She gets into an
You missed
argument.
it. They totally wrote out the X-Men. They're like, oh, they're in space.
Yeah, no, and I wanted to bring that up. Don't you think it's cool that Marvel was so particular about continuity that they could have had the X-Men in the story and just said, oh, the X-Men go into space next month, so it fits in. But no, they're like, oh, no. It is,
Right now, the X-Men
November
are in space.
1981 or whatever, and the X-Men in space, they cannot be in the story, and they stuck to it. I love that.
So, like, Hank wasn't in space with them?
What's that?
Beast didn't go to space?
Well, no, because Beast was not in the X-Men at this point. He was in the Avengers, right? Yeah, so...
I forget that they switch so often.
Yeah, and I think he was also in the Champions at one point. He was in the Defenders, but anyway. So I like how they keep everything straight.
And I really liked how they were like, and Power Man and the Iron Fist and their dates, Misty Knight. I was like, she's a superhero too.
At that point, was she though? I don't know if she was. Maybe she was.
She still has both arms, so maybe not. But I was like, their dates are here.
Yeah.
But nobody else got a date?
Guess not, eh? Peter Parker came by himself.
Well, that's to be expected.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Like that's Peter Parker to me right there. Like,
look, Quasar's in 2 panels in this one.
Okay, there you go.
He comes out of the limo and
you can see his crotch.
Yeah, lovely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we have a scene where she's harassed by another guy that's trying to get into her pants.
Yeah, and give her drugs.
Yeah, I mean...
that just happens. Guys just they go, hey, you want some drugs? No? How about some sex? No?
At least they depict the sleazy side of the music industry, which is ever present,
Which is literally every single person she interacts with at all times.
Yeah. So then
But she says no to drugs.
It's true. See, so there is a lesson to be learned here for
it's
young
to vilify
readers.
her mother more and showcase that she's better than her.
Well, whatever.
Because you have to pit women against each other.
Kind of a roundabout way of teaching a good lesson. But anyway, her father comes back. She gets reunited with him. So then she decides not to do the concert. Then she gets reunited with her mother. she decides to do the concert. So it was kind of a weird kind of plot. But I did like the way that it was so crucial about whether or not she decided to go on stage or not, and then she finally did. So that was kind of cool. Did you guys like that?
She had so much inner turmoil, and then nothing changed. And also, one person told her to not do it, so she's like, okay. And then someone said, no, you should do it. So she said, okay. That's what I got out of it. Well, I got another Allison just doing the things that people around her tell her to do.
She's still kind of a pawn.
She's just there.
Yeah.
She just is pretty. In roller skates.
At least she still has her roller skates on. So she comes out, she does her show, and apparently she doesn't talk to the audience for 2 hours straight. And then she finally decides...
Nobody's concerned about that.
So she finally... This is my favorite part. She does is this where she does her original?
Yeah.
Okay, let's read these lyrics. Little girl on sunlit lawn dreams of the day when she will be grown.
Yeah, grown doesn't rhyme with lawn, honey.
Okay, Danny Fingeroth, not known for his song lyrics, but at least the art's good, right? She thinks her daddy and mom will always be there. Long as they are, she hasn't a care. That rhymes.
Just.
Okay.
It does rhyme.
But we got to keep going, though.
That's all songs need to do, right, is rhyme.
But then she grows up all too soon. She grows up and the light of the moon tells her that things aren't going to be the way they're in poetry, and all that's left with...
It's a good thing she's pretty.
What? Yeah, yeah, okay. Anyway, let's just stop there. Should we keep reading? Should we stop?
I would stop because you're going to give yourself an aneurysm.
Okay, so we'll stop. So here we see the Avengers. We're on page 35 here. The Avengers
Who's this?
and FF are enjoying...
Is that
Johnny.
Sue? No, it's next to the woman. I was like, why is Allison in the audience?
Yeah,
it's Sue.
Yeah, they look exactly
you can't tell.
the same, yeah. Oh, that's a good shot. I like that one. And when she's singing.
Where her boobs are just like, whew.
That's the one, yeah. Okay, so then the concert ends and, things are back to normal. That's a good shot. Anyway.
Oh my god, somebody drew a female character's hair in a ponytail, and I almost died seeing it.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ponytails are rad.
It's realistic, right? She almost looks like Lady Gaga here on the bottom of
that's
page
the thing, right?
36.
Dazzler could be so cool if she was just Lady Gaga.
Should they get Lady Gaga to play her if they do a movie?
Girl, did you watch
no, what's it called?
A Star is Born?
Star is Born. Awesome. Great job.
You put Lady Gaga in roller skates and blue face paint, and I am front and center there. But also give it some plot.
I wonder if Lady Gaga ever read a Dazzler comic when she was a kid, eh?
I
wouldn't be surprised.
Would hope not. Because then she wouldn't have pursued her career.
So anyway, then at the end, there's a surprise
They'll break
party
into
for
her
Dazzler.
apartment.
Yeah,
She's exhausted. She just made up with her mother and her father, and she had a long night with them, and she's like, it's 3 a.m. and I'm tired and I'm ready to go home. And everyone that she knows is in her apartment.
Isn't that cool? I wish that
I would be
more
livid.
often. Yeah. So anyway, at the end, we get a little next issue, Mystique, Destiny, Rogue, the Sisterhood of Evil Mutants. So you excited to read the next issue now? Even though Quasar's not in it?
Because I care about Destiny and Rogue, and I want to see their pre-not-gay romance. Because it was the 80s, and we can't do that.
They kind of hint at it, but they don't really say anything, do they?
Well, they can get away with it, I think, because Mystique can be genderless, right? And I'm pretty sure Destiny is genderless, even though she appears female. But yeah, like if you go to the next one, you look at the cover for that one, it's cool.
Into the next one? Okay,
yeah.
Let's see. So, Dazzler number, what is this?
22.
22.
He just got Rogue punching her in the face.
Punched in the face by Rogue.
An angel's there.
I'm tempted to read this too. Jeez.
An angel gets attacked by birds.
So there you go, listener. We just read Dazzler number 21, and Becca is so excited about what's going to happen next that she's going to keep on reading the series.
Yeah, because Angel gets attacked by birds.
Exactly.
And
so
get punched in the face by Rogue too.
Overall, Dazzler number 21, was it a great story, do you think, or was
Good Quasar appearance.
Okay. You get to see his crotch.
Yeah. He's a handsome man. Mm-hmm. And he gets out of that car real nice. Quasar's not in a whole lot of stuff, eh?
Well, at this point he wasn't. He was just a B character. But then he eventually did get his own series in 1989, so.
Good for him. Good for you, dude. Mm-hmm. Did he get a new haircut?
So.
Because that's all he needed.
2 questions. Does this comic make you want to read more Dazzler comics? A, does it?
This series?
Would you dig up the other issues and read?
Would I pay for it? No.
Okay.
Would I read it? Maybe.
Okay. Does this make you want to read more comics by Danny Fingeroff?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
In fact, now I'm going to blacklist his name so that I make sure that I don't accidentally pick anything up by this guy.
In general, does this affect your opinion of 1980s comics either way?
Yes, very negatively.
Negatively. Ooh, okay. So there you go. So Marvel had their chance. They had a female superhero, and they kind of screwed it up, didn't they?
Well, and I get that things are a product of their time. That doesn't make them right. And I understand that. But, I read, tons of old Miss Marvel comics growing up. Tons of Chris Claremont, Miss Marvel stuff, and all that stuff. And I didn't, and she did things in the comic. Her origin, she does get, saved by a dude and, sure, whatever. But, she actually does stuff and has agency. The Wasp, she does stuff and has agency. It feels like I don't understand why Dazzler has her own solo run. This doesn't make any sense to me. What story is needing to be told? Nothing's happening.
Well, to be fair, are you aware of how Dazzler was created?
No.
Here's a little history lesson. Casablanca, I believe it was Casablanca Records, they wanted to do a cross-promotion between their record label and Marvel Comics. They were going to create a superhero.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, create a superhero. Okay, she has to tie into disco. So somebody, probably Tom DeFalco, said, okay, we'll call her Disco Queen. And then Roger Stern said, no, how about Dazzler? Okay, fine, Dazzler. So back and forth with, all the copyright and the red tape. And at first it was we're going to base her on Bridget Nielsen, I think it was. Okay, and then it was no, screw that. It's going to be Bo Derek. You know Bo Derek from 10? And it's okay, no, and by the way, the movie, we're going to do a movie, and the movie has to be directed by Bo Derek's husband. No, we're not going to let him do it, so Bo Derek pulls out. Red tape. 2 years go by, disco dies. It's no longer popular. It's oh shit, what are we going to do now? Okay, screw it. We're just going to put her in the X-Men, introduce her, and then get her out there, and we'll figure out what to do later. So she bounces around for a couple years. Then finally they give her her own. I think it was basically a matter of they thought, well, we've already invested all this time and effort and money into creating this character, so we got to do something with her. And I think that's what it was. Then they published this series. And that's why they didn't really know what to do with her.
That absolutely makes all of this make sense. Yeah. Because it just seems, I was like, what money were they getting to do this? Because there seems no purpose. With the X-Men, there's usually a reason why they're doing the things that they're doing. With the Avengers, with Luke Cage and stuff like that, his comics had a point, and there's no point to these. They just are.
I think, you know what? I think that's where Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, they have to get the credit for the characters that they created in the 60s have all lasted. 80, whatever. How long has it been? 50 years? It doesn't matter. Dazzler, she was not thought all the way through when they created her. They thought, okay, she's got to like disco and she's got to have roller skates. That's about all they thought.
And hot.
And she's got to be hot. And her powers are cool, but don't quite understand how they work.
They're also not that cool.
Yeah, and they don't really define what she can do with them, and not really much.
She uses them for her stage show.
Yeah. So it's they didn't really think her character all the way through before they gave her her own series, did they?
I mean, yeah, it just makes me want to read Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah.
Because all the best parts of Dazzler are way better in Gem.
That's
and way gayer. So, that's all I need. But, I don't know. She's enough of a blank slate that if they bring her back and give her her own movie now, it could be awesome. If they put Lady Gaga in it, and or Kesha, or just let it go balls to the wall, crazy music drama, it could be awesome because there's not that much there and they have a lot to play with. Like they're like, oh, girl, singing, light, got it, like that, and then you could do whatever you want with that, right? But reading this solo series is just like it leaves you so empty. It's like I would rather read something else.
So here's the good news: is Chris Claremont did write more Dazzler stories because soon after her series was canceled, she joined the X-Men. So those stories are much better than this.
That's when she gets like the blue outfit, right with the headband? That's Absolutely. The Dazzler I know.
Right, me too. When she was dating Longshot,
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, romantic.
On again, off again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the Dazzler I know, and she's like kind of a badass, right? And she like doesn't take, she's like no nonsense kind of girl, right? And she's like, oh, I'm a famous like whatever, like you can't talk down to me. And this one was a completely different character.
Totally. So there you have it, folks. Quasar Chronology number 13, reviewing Dazzler number 21.
He was in it.
Quasar was in it, didn't do much. Dazzler was in it, didn't do much. If you are looking for good Dazzler stories, probably start with Chris Claremont's X-Men run, where Dazzler, she joined around 210, 215-ish, I believe. She was in the book for a few years before she literally disappeared for like the whole 90s. They didn't do anything with her. So anyway,
she wouldn't have fit in the 90s. Grunge
Probably
Dazzler?
Not.
Well, no, Ultimate Dazzler. Read Ultimate Dazzler.
Apparently that's good.
She's a punk rocker.
Okay.
It makes sense. She's like a 90s feminist riot girl, and it makes sense.
Despite the fact that apparently that version of Dazzler was written by Brian Michael Bendis, I think I will check it out.
I mean, he's not the worst. He made Iceman gay. I like that.
Okay. So, there you go, folks. Next week, we will be reviewing Marvel Team Up Annual number 5. Until then, hopefully we will have Bex Luthor back on the show at some point. Be sure to join us next week and every week after that for more fun.
So
Bronze Age comics. Okay, see you soon, folks. Bye.